of time, just because of that as well. The crowd control that he was taking just didn't even look like he was being stunned or slowed at all.
Yep, so that has been removed from the game, you know, but nonetheless, Cleanse still a really fun summoner spell to kind of bait opponents. Again, use yourself as a CC sync. However, there are no cleanses in this game. Interesting to note that both mid laners, both Starfall and Refrain have taken the summoner spell barrier. So, you know, running a little short on ignites than what we're more commonly used to seeing about 3. There's again no exhaust in this game as well. So both mid laners really looking to just sustain and farm up safely, use their poke abilities, which both champions abound in.
So we do see the fan of the wall coming out from both of these teams, just trying to watch out the entrances of the jungles here. Make sure there's no sneaky invades coming in from either team. Mew and Snake up in the top lane, just spotting each other out. Violet will be spotted out by a Trinket Ward being placed down by yoeFW Flash Wolves. It's very interesting. Flash Wolves here, no, not Flash Wolves, sorry, Full Lewis have Karma going up against a Sivir for their team comp. So they will have a burst of mobility to kind of disengage away from when On the Hunt is used in a potential team fight.
Right, we see some poke going down already.
A lot of damage going down onto yoeFW Flash Wolves here.
Yeah, and that's something
really early on.
We notice about actually NFL is that they're not afraid to take fights. But a lot of times we wonder, you know, just from a caster's perspective, because we can see everything, what exactly they're taking the fight for. You know, a lot of times it's just random brawling that doesn't lead to an objective, and if they want to secure that first win, that's something that they'll have to really focus on. Getting the fights they want, and then following up with rotations to objectives.
I do like how Violet has taken health picks here to get a lot of auto attack harass down early, but he does get stunned up by Sword Dart, takes a little bit of damage from that sunlight. Won't be too much for him to handle though, but it's interesting because since Violet did take health picks early on, Leona and Sivir are actually winning the push war down at the bottom lane. They will hit level 2 first, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And Mountain is close to the bottom lane as well, so is Wukong, but SOFM, we've seen his ganks at the bottom lane have not really been paying off so far.
No, unfortunately not so. The rotations from SOFM, you know, in theory it looks good on paper. On the drawing board it really sounds good. Get your AD carry, you know, farmed up, ready to fight, ready to contribute in team fights earlier on by having some assists, some kills, but just not able to really translate those ganks into actual kills, and that cost them a lot of map pressure that would have been better utilized in other areas, perhaps, you know, some pressure in mid. However, we see that bottom lane, both junglers know SOFM just backs off, recalls. However, Mountain is still in the area. Don't think he'll be going in though because the lane's quite pushed. Otherwise, quite standard, back and forth in the mid lane, just trading poke.
So that's been a relatively quiet game, as most games on Summoner's Rift have been in the 2014 season, especially with the changes to First Blood Gold, which is a little bit less until the 4-minute mark. Yep. That will scale all the way up to back to that 400 gold for First Blood. So level 1, level 2 kills have been a little bit less common, but still in this bottom lane, hitting level 2 or level 3 first is a huge factor in the bottom lane in terms of both minion score and also positioning on the map. We're going to see SFM run up to the top lane to try and get a gank onto the Stake. We'll be able to slow him down, but Stake should be able to get out of this just fine with a slice and dice.
Yeah, even delays the slice a little bit just to, you know, buy his lanes a little more time, saying, hey guys, the jungler's up here, you're free to push up. And that's why we see Mountain, you know, going for that aggressive push really past the river without any vision. So he knows that with information at top, and wow, they're still going on Stake.
Wukong's still at the top lane. Mew actually dives the turn here. Reddington's gonna go down for First Blood. Fantastic dive coming out from Full Lewis, just walking right up to the tower and taking down Stake without a problem.
Wow. So
Mew didn't even have to burn Flash to get out of that situation, and that was very surprising dive coming out from Neolution Esports Full Lewis.
Interesting right there. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to, you know, check Renekton's skills, but I believe what NFL did very well was they saw Stake use his slice and dice away. then still sit on the tower with low HP, and they realized that he would have to flash out. Wukong flashes after because the slice and dice was still on cooldown, managed to secure that kill. We criticized SOFM, but he did a great job.
Here comes Mountain though, will be able to hit onto Violet. Actually no, Shin's gonna block that jump in coming in from Mountain there, and a lot of damage being returned onto Flash Rules coming in from Shin here, but we did see Lulu take a chunk of damage coming out from the Zenith Blade and stun from Leona, and also a ton of damage coming out from NL on Sivir here.
Right, so AD carries are often criticized for just having terrible positioning, eating skill shots to the face, but right there Shin did the right move eating the Vault Breaker, because if that had hit Violet, we saw him walk away with just about 100 HP or so, he would have been a goner.
You can see SOFM jump into this mid lane against Ziggs here. Starfall has to be a little bit careful of any stray bouncing bombs or potential. Actually, no, there is no ignite in this mid lane, as you mentioned early on. So, doesn't have to be too scared of going a little bit low of a cheeky ignite coming out of Ziggs, since there is none.
Yeah, and the fun thing about Karma as well is that you do have quite a bit of bait potential, not only with the barrier summoner spell that Starfall has picked up, but as well with the mantra shields that you can give yourself a lot of mobility, a lot of buffered health, and that'll help a lot, I think, against Ziggs, because if he expends all his cooldowns, expends a full rotation to try and burst down Starfall, he should be able to stay quite safe and perhaps still provide that utility to the team, no matter what health he's at, really.
I'm very surprised that Mew here hasn't gone for a Vampiric Scepter on his first back to the fountain, especially with First Blood Gold going his way and being able to deny Snake some of this experience from the minions. Felt like could have gone a little bit more aggressive. You do see Shin get stunned up, but NL is getting ignited by Lulu here. Has to flash away from this one. Shin's gonna flash him one more time, but will do the trick. Will he get it? He does get the last auto attack. Now Sword Art in a little bit of trouble. That 80% slow coming in from Lulu. He's gonna Zenith Blade over to Shin, but Sword Art's getting taken so low here, but we'll be able to get out of this one alive. Mountain
here
now.
Comes Mountain.
He should be able to hit the Vault Breaker here, but Violet's gonna try and position himself in between the AD carry and Vault Breaker. Will actually miss the Flash Volker. He was trying to flash over Violet and hit the Vault Breaker.
Yeah.
Was not able to do so though. So another flash burn for the jungler of Flash Wolves.
Yikes. So those little Yordles, no matter how short they are, it wasn't the best move to try and flash over Violet right there. Just wasn't advisable, really. It wouldn't have worked, and that's the flash down. Jungle pressure loss, really, because they have Vision of Mountain there. SOFM is going to be very happy because Wukong really, his ganks before 6 should not have been so effective, and now that he's hit level 6 with his Cyclone ultimate, he'll be very happy to go to a lane and perhaps pick up the kill.
Despite Mew not going for the aggressive item choice of picking up a Vampiric Scepter early on, due to the first blood gold he got, he did manage to pick up both a chain vest and a cloth armor. This is going to give him a ton of armor against Renekton, who does purely physical damage, except for when he pops his dominance, which he has up in the top lane against Mew. SOFM has noticed this. He might be able to get a gank off onto Renekton here. Pops his invisibility. He's going to jump in. Will he pop his all the way? He does pop the cycle. Shyvana's going to jump in. Pops the ignite down to the stake. Stake's getting taken out so low. Mew will pick up the second kill onto Stake up in the top lane, and SOFM will live with a sliver of health. Now Starfall getting a lot of damage down onto Ziggs in this mid lane. Wow, there goes the Mega Inferno Bumbo. Will be dodged out by Starcall there.
Wow, so right there, we saw SOFM, as I mentioned, hitting that level 6 with that Cyclone, knowing he could visit a lane without flash, that being Stakes on Renekton. He had just popped Dominus, it had just fallen off, so perfect timing by SOFM to really head up there, get Mew that second kill, and if we talk about the defensive pickups by Mew despite having picked up the kill, I think this really shows the confidence he has in Shyvana scaling. Probably going to pick up the defense first, not too worried about the damage that will come in later with the levels, as well as the AP damage, the magic damage that Shyvana packs as well. so he's not too worried about it. Just wants to survive.
Shin does get Zenith Blade as he does use the knockback to knock Sword Art away. Shin's getting taken out so low. It might just be Leona finishing him off here. He is so low right now, but he's taking a ton of damage in return coming from Violet. Here comes Mountain though, jumps in with the Vault Breaker and will take down Shin for another kill on the bot lane. Now Violet's getting jumped on by both Mountain and NL here, but NL's getting taken down by the Monkey King, who's going to continue chasing onto Mountain, but Ziggs is in the vicinity to try and help out his team, but he's being chased down by Karma as well. Vaultbreaker will jump back on the SFM, gets taken down so low, but will be Starfall coming in to deter Flash Wolves from aggressively chasing any further.
Right, so we criticized Mountain before about his flash in the earlier gank. Now we see SOFM going a little too aggressive, having the flash out as well. So both junglers making, you know, questionable calls, and right here with that loss of jungle pressure on the side of NFL, Flash Wolves making the bold call because they're a little low on HP to really go for this dragon. Starfall gets poked a little low as well though.
Mountain's taking a ton of damage from the dragon. Sword Art also cannot tank this dragon much longer. Starfall trying to go aggressive against Ziggs, manages to stop Flash Wolves from continuing this dragon attempt. So well played by Starfall in the mid lane.
Right, so what we saw right there was NL and Sword Art going aggressive in the bot lane, knowing that Mountain was closing in. I don't think they expected Shin to give them so much problems with the tumble and invisibility that Vayne packs. You know, we saw the Solar Flare kind of just hit on the edge only, not right where you want to hit Vayne. You want to hit it right on the top of the head with that Solar Flare. And then Wukong comes in, SOFM comes in, didn't have his ultimate, otherwise that could have turned real ugly.
These two kills that have been given to Mew up in the top lane have been so significant to how he's going to be laning against Stake for the remainder of this game.
Yeah.
Normally Renekton does incredibly well against Shyvana early on.
Yep.
Shyvana will eventually scale up to the point where she can duel out Renekton and becomes a little bit of a skill-based matchup. However, with two early kills in the top lane, Mew should be more than set up there. He should be more than able to duel out Stake for the remainder of this game.
Stake's time to be a bully in this lane has effectively run short. You can see that the trades are already going even to Shyvana, and that is not something you want to see. While Sword Art going real close to Shin.
SOFM is going to jump in though. Pops the invisibility, is going to jump on the Silver, uses that spell shield nicely to stop the cycle, but he's still taking a ton of damage here. SOFM is diving the tower. Fantastic use of the Solar Flare. Mega Inferno Bomb will take down both the support and AD carry incredibly low. They are not able to finish off Leona, as we do see taking out Mountain with fantastic gank, or counter gank I should say, coming into the bottom lane to pick up 2 kills for himself.
Vault Breakers 1, then Assault and Battery on the other. Great job by Mountain right there. If only he had been there a little sooner, but the thing is, Flash Wolves are making that call to, you know, keep that Vayne under control. The kills have not been going to Vayne, importantly. You know, we see 2 kills on Wukong now. So, it's not that bad. And with the pickup of the objective, Flash Wolves ultimately comes up on top of that.
And there's that timely spell shield that we were talking about before Champion Select. Silver using the spell shield incredibly effectively to negate the crowd control coming in from Cyclone. And because of that, although NL eventually did go down to the damage from SOFM, delayed the gank long enough.
Yeah, basically got a power kill from that delay and actually split the team right there, because Wukong had to dive so far to finish off that kill that by that time Mountain was actually able to close in along with Refrain. So great move by there, right there. I'd like to point out also NL's build right here. We don't see this very common on Sivers. He's actually rushing that Blade of the Ruined King, and I think that's just to match the dueling power that this Lulu and Vayne lane picks up, as well as the burst that can come up from Leona. So interesting pickup.
We saw as well Sword Art with a fantastic Solar Flare to lock down both Shin and Violet in the bottom lane as they were aggressing into tower range. They eventually did have to back off and took a ton of damage from that Mega Inferno Bomb, and as you said, we did see Mountain coming in to pick up the double kill with the assault and battery and
Yeah, some flashy moves by Mountain right there. If you saw right at the end of his, rotation, he basically had 0 mana, so he did a really good job proportioning his spells. Of course, he just had 2 actives on by, but nonetheless, 3, excuse me, but he did that really well, knowing exactly the extent of his skills. SOFM with some mind reading skills picks up that ward, and that effectively makes the jungle of NFL dark again once more for Flash Wolves. We see now in the mid lane that Ziggs with that 1 kill refrain able to pick up that Athene's a little earlier than Starfall. Will be interesting to see how much side lane pressure he can really put on, and that is the hang on a second there. Mountain just flashed. Yikes.
I'm surprised. I think he must have rebound his number 2.
Yeah, or he might have been
something really close to where his splash button is.
Yeah, because right after that he put down a ward.
Right after that he put down a ward into that brush. So Mountain
flashing to put down the ward.
Happy there.
So Mountain not only with the flashy plays, Mountain with the fast flashes, and here we see what could be a 4-man engage at the bottom while Mew takes the top tower. I like this move by NFL. They get the top lane tower and they know that the pressure is on. So wow, there's the speed up. Woo!
Whoa, SOFM running incredibly fast and aggressively against the Splash Wolves bot lane tower. But we have seen SOFM in the bot lane for a lot of these new Evolution Esports Full Lewis games, where he likes to focus most of his attention. SFM now in a little bit of trouble here. Uses the Cyclone and the Wild Growth to get 3 knockouts onto the side of Flash Wolves here. He's going to go aggressive into the inner tower. They're past the first tower. Leona will go down first. Now, and now in a lot of trouble. SOFM will make out of this one alive, and they will pick up Mountain at the same time. Ziggs trying to get the bouncy ball, will just barely miss SOFM though, and Starcall is going to try his best to try and zone both Stake and Ziggs away from this one. Stake pops his dominance. It looks like he's going to try and slice and dice into this one. Gets knocked back by Vayne there. Fantastic mechanics coming off from Shin. He has to flash away himself. Ziggs now, bouncing bomb will be enough to take down, and Stake will get taken down incredibly low. This might be an ace, a delayed ace coming in. For Lewis, they get the kill. They get the double kill on the base. A delayed ace going to Full Lewis. Only 15 minutes into this game.
What just happened right there? We saw the 4-man rotation bottom, and you really gotta question Flash Wolves' rotation right there. They sent Ziggs mid lane to continue pushing, was unable to pick up the tower, came bottom so late, NFL had already pushed past that. Alright, no more action right now, so we can recap what just happened. And then we kind of just see one by one Flash Wolves filtering in and just giving more kills. Not only that, double kill to Vayne, who's now 4, 2, and 3. That's gonna be a huge problem.
Incredibly huge problem coming out.
Yikes.
For Flash Wolves now. We saw it was a little bit of an aggressive maneuver coming in from SOFM. We have seen every game that Full Lewis have played this week so far. SOFM focuses 90% of his time around the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Against the single percentiles, it didn't work out. And it looked like it wasn't working out against Flash Wolves because of Mountain's positioning and Ziggs' roam coming down to the bottom lane to negate the pressure coming out from Wukong.
Yep.
However, that aggressive dive with the Wild Growth and the Cyclone coming out from Wukong was enough to lock down those 3 members for extended amount of time, forced both Renekton and Ziggs to try and 2-on-4, and it did not work out for Flash Wolves at all.
Yeah, and we saw some beautiful mantra speed ups by Starfall right there, just kiting back, especially when Stake had dived in with his dominance, kite back a little bit, catch him with some of the slows, the tether of Karma, and then just really burst him down, giving the double kill over to Vayne. On top of that, you really got to credit NFL for the rotations. To start that whole 4-man dive bottom, they had Mew push up top lane, and then swing mid when they saw Refrain go bottom. So they really got... Now you can see the tower score is 3-0. Flash Wolves was able to pick up the earlier dragon, and with 40 seconds to go, and this gold lead now almost 6k, about 5k plus. NFL will be more than willing to fight this dragon, I feel.
You can already see that Vayne has managed to pick up both the Blade of the Ruin King and the Zeal.
Yikes.
A lot of Vaynes have a huge argument over if it's better to pick up Bloodthirst or Blade of the Ruin King first, but let's
The
look
classic
at Shin.
Vayne argument.
Shin will pick up the Blade of the Ruin King first. It is pretty effective against a team like Flash Wolves, which has both Vi and Renekton, two champions who can dive into the backline incredibly easily and aggressively.
Yep.
So the Blade of the Ruin King does work out to provide extra damage and peel for those frontline tanky champions. We already said, and as you mentioned, Sivir was rushing Blade of the Ruin King as well, which will help out with the peel, but we saw there. Although once again, NL used his spell shield effectively to negate the cyclone, the wild growth wasn't blocked by that spell shield. We might see a fight for this dragon. Will they get the steal? They do get the steal coming in, but Shin's gonna pop his ultimate, gets knocked out by the assault battery and shut down by Safe. Shin gets shut down by Sivir here. Flash Wolves may be able to turn around this fight. Cyclone's being used by SFM, hits everybody on the side of Flash Wolves. Mountain is incredibly low, trying to run away from this fight. May actually vault break it back into this one, but that's not a smart decision as the rest of the team is getting absolutely decimated. And we do see Fool Lewis pick up 4 kills in that fight, with only Mountain escaping with a sliver of hell. But they were able to pick up Dragon. What is Mountain doing? He's gonna go this time! He gets his though! He done goofed right there!
What have you done? What you done,
The first time we saw Mountain charging the vault breaker to try and go back in, missed it going over the wall. Second time he did it, Hell picks into a beatdown coming in from SOFM was off. I mean, do go into a replay of that fight. So take us through what happened here, Mark.
Alright, so we see right here SOFM trying to get the smite timer, unable to do so. Mountain comes in, able to combine that burst damage to really get the steal. Now this is where it all goes wrong. First, they hit Shin, but there's no follow-up because of her invisibility, first of all. Then the ultimate gets popped, and they all collapse on Shin, and you can see that they're all grouped up right here for some of the great AoE damage that is about to come in. Too much has been expended, and right again, we see right here, the Cyclone. At this point in time, everything has been expended on Shin. And then it's just madness. This Wukong is having a field day of it. Uses his decoy to drop some of the aggro. Just great play overall, and I really feel a bit of overcommitment. I think more than like 3 ultimates, sorry, were thrown onto Shin, and oh goodness. Right here we see, we don't get to see the replay of Mountain committing suicide to the monkey, but that was I don't know. That was sad.
From Flash Wolves, although they were able to take down Vayne incredibly early on, a huge mistake for them was that when they followed up the 5-on-4, they split their damage too heavily.
Yeah.
So SOFM, Starfall, and Mew all lived with incredibly low amounts of health. Only Violet was left pretty healthy in that fight, which is understandable being the support.
Yeah, it's a classic case of when you tunnel on the AD carry too much. Definitely they did a good job of getting Shin. Let's not take that away from them. But they had to have a plan after that.
And had to focus down somebody
exactly.
better. I mean,
and moving up,
Mew and SFM were in the front lines incredibly low.
Yes.
But instead, we saw Stake try to peel off and go for Starfall. We saw just Ziggs running away. So you see NL bursts that spell shield incredibly early.
Wow.
Mega Inferno Bomb coming out. Trying to deter Full Lewis from getting into the others, but now we're going to see
Mountain in the middle.
What are you doing? Cyclone to the face, into the wall you go. That is not even going to matter. You're going back into your death. What was Mountain thinking trying to go in 2-on-4 there?
Yikes. So, if we had to give Mountain, an additional handle, it's gotta be Mad Mountain. Because that's twice now he's dove back into the fray and got himself killed. He was actually a bit clear from that fight, being condemned away. Yes, he was stunned up, but he was actually walking away. Goes back in for the ultimate.
Shin does get knocked back to that tower from.
And yikes, Mountain needs to Needs to get his head in this game, really.
Sure does. Mountain being a little bit over aggressive, and it's cost him a few times. And we saw earlier how he has actually accidentally used his flash this game, which isn't too great for him either.
And with the latest turn of events, 16-7 now, 8k gold lead. Flash Wolves yet to pick up the tower. It could be he's feeling a little bit of that pressure, but nonetheless, you know, they really got to work together as a team. Definitely, they had some good coordination to lock down.
There goes Sword Art with the Zenith Blade onto everybody. Oh. Misses the solo flare. Mountain in the middle of the team. Here comes SOFM jumping back onto Mountain. Blocks that cycle. Nice spell shield coming out from Sivir here. Oh, he uses the boomerang to pick up the kill. Mega Inferno Bomb will not be able to take down the rest of the members, as we do see Flash Wolves trying to chase down the other three members of NFL here, but we saw fantastic positioning coming up from Sivir, and great boomerang blade onto Vayne to pick up the kill.
Yes, excellent play by NL right there, waiting for Vayne to actually tumble forward, or expend the tumble at least, to then throw out the boomerang blade, which meant that there was no escape or mobility left to dodge that. However, good to note that Shin is willing to play so aggressive because he knows the amount of, you know, buffered health that he can get with the shield from Starfall, the shield from Help Picks, as well as his barrier. However, just a straight up outplay by NL right there, watching that aggressiveness that Shin was displaying, knowing when to throw out the boomerang blade. As you mentioned, great positioning, great timing.
He's gonna have to see what Fulu decide to do next. That was incredibly action-packed 5 to 10 minutes are coming out from both teams, Fluids and Flash Wolves. Although Fluids is about 7,000 gold ahead, the past few fights have looked incredibly close for both teams. Clutch plays coming out from multiple players of both teams, and so far NL and Sivir has been doing a good job of using his spell shield to negate the Cyclone coming out from SOFM. The only time they've been able to lock him down efficiently is when they combo up the Cyclone with the Wild Growth coming in from Violet. But that's only happened once so far. All the other times it's just been NL just running away with the rest of his health bar slowly being drained, but still alive and intact.
Yes, so Dragon coming up in 30 seconds right now, and I think what Flash Wolves will have to do is look for that point, on point solar flare from Sword Art, because as we mentioned a few times in earlier engages, wow, they're not even going for Dragon, abusing the Dragon timer right here. Zero vision from Flash Wolves. This could be going to NFL. Now they know, but I...
The Mega Inferno Bomb though, and the dominance from Sake. He will not make this one up. Now he's in a lot of trouble. Has to flash over this wall. Stuns up SOFM, who is in a lot of trouble himself now. Pops his Cyclone. He'll get taken down. So will Stake in the background, or will he? He will eventually go down to take nice. You do see Shin picks up a kill onto Sivir here. Now we have Shyvana chasing in onto the mad scientist. Ziggs pops down that explosive minefield to try and slow down Shyvana a little bit longer. But this will be it for Mr. Train here. He gets taken down eventually, despite packing on his barrier there. But now Mountain, a little bit of trouble. Do see Shin gets a slow down. Got the continue chasing. Zenith Blade. No! Battery into the solo flare. We'll dash Shin for a lot of time though. Will help Picks be enough. It will not be enough. Sword Art pick up the kill on the clutch play against Shin there. 3 for 2 trade in favor of NFL still though.
Oh my goodness. So right there, we talk about how NFL loves to fight. What they do this time is that they change it up a little bit. They know the Dragon is going to be live, and they saw, you know, the amount of vision wards that were being placed down by Flash Wolves in that area. So they make the move to Baron. Great move right there, able to take Flash Wolves completely off guard. And again, we see that super aggressiveness from Shin. He has to have known that the ultimates were still up for Vi and Leona, but he got so much shield that he almost survived that. It was very, very close.
Incredibly close coming out from Shin on Vayne here, but still, Mountain He's being a little bit over-aggressive. Did you see SFM jumping with the cycle really early? Here comes Savannah to try and back him up. Swordhouse again taking a lot of damage from this initiation coming out from both Mew and SOFM. They do get a lot of damage down onto Flash Wolves there, but that is those are two ultimates burned.
Yeah, so Flash Wolves right now needs to get their head back in the game, realize that yes, NFL is burned up. However, they've just expended two of their big AoE, team fight ultimates. Flash Wolves yet to pick up the tower. This is their window to do so. They need to get something right now with those two ultimates down. Otherwise, NFL is just gonna aggressively push with this Baron buff and show, maximum disrespect. Without those two team fight ultimates, we're still gonna take the fight to you. Flash Wolves have to make some sort of rotation or objective gain right now.
It's gonna be incredibly hard to stick down onto Shin in the next few fights for Flash Wolves, just because though we were talking about how on the hunt and the spell shield will keep NL alive, now Shin is this late game monster powerhouse of Vayne with a Lulu support who is packing Mikhail's Crucible and the Sun Disc to give Shin not only movement speed and also movement speed from her polymorph, but also a cleanse and a boost of health coming from Mikhail's now.
Exactly.
Shin will be able to be kept alive for an extended amount of time. It's going to be even harder for Flash Wolves to lock her down.
Yeah, and we see Shin himself has picked up that Quicksilver sash.
Jump in though. He will get that wall growth that we were just talking about. Look at all the shields onto the Vayne. She is just melting through the front line of Flash Wolves, chasing into the back lines now, leading the pack, gets a lot of damage on the train, won't take him down. That's a fantastic play coming out from Full Lewis to negate all that initiation coming in onto Shin.
Right, so this is what I was talking about, how Flash Wolves are tunneling so hard on the AD carry. They did manage to get Shin down at that previous Dragon fight, but this is so much later. A Baron up team fight, the amount of shields and peel that are coming out, along with that Quicksilver sash of her own, didn't even have to pop that. They can't take down Shin right now, and that is a huge problem for them. They need to find another way to deal with these team fights.
Should we see Mew jumps in with his Dragon's Ascent onto stake, takes it down for quite a bit of health there, but we'll just return to take down this inhibitor turret. Eventually we'll go for this inhibitor as well, which Starfall and Mew should be able to take down with ease, as we do see Train and Stake coming in to defend this inhibitor, but it won't be long before they'll be able to take that one down. And even with a Spectral Scowl, we saw there Stake taking a lot of poke damage coming in from Karma.
Yeah, so the thing now is the scaling of NFL has really kicked in. We have Vayne 755, Mew is 403, hasn't even dropped yet, and he's just getting even more deadly. It's not even a full tank build, so the Shyvana of the Blade of the Ruin King is going to be dealing tons of percentage damage. And both these, strong carries, not to mention the 309 Karma, are going to be sped up, going to be shielded, going to be dealing against polymorph little puppy enemies, so they're in great shape right now. And there's going to be a crazy monkey knocking you all up the whole time.
SOFM has managed to pick up both the Black Cleaver and Spirit of the Elder Lizard, so he's going to be packing a punch with his Cyclones and basic attacks and abilities when he engages in onto YOE Flash Wolves. With Shin being as strong as he is right now, I don't even think they need to worry about SFM surviving fights. All they need to do is keep Shin alive while SFM and the rest of his team distracts the rest of YOE Flash Wolves. And YOE Flash Wolves, as you said, have been tunneling incredibly hard onto Shin on the AD carry. We saw how much survivability Shin has as Vayne.
Just look at that shield from Starfall. That's like
not only Starfall, but also the Wild Growth, the Help Picks,
so another barrier.
His own barrier, Mikhail's Crucible, and he has a QSS and another cleanse coming in from Lulu, so Shin will be an incredibly slippery AD carry to deal with this game. And now 20 to 10 in terms of kills yoeFW haven't even managed to pick up a single tower yet to the 7 towers NFL have managed to knock down. And they are about 15,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, the gold lead keeps increasing, the objective lead as well. Flash Wolves yet to pick up the turret. You know, Dragon and Baron respawning around the same time. NFL could make a push here, but they have to be careful because if they fall here, death timers aren't all that long, but it would give Flash Wolves, you know, some control over some of the objectives that are coming up shortly.
We'll probably see a fight come in from YOE Flash Wolves. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to defend this inhibitor, decide not to. So they're just going to give up their inhibitor, probably try to stop either the Baron attempt or YOE Flash Wolves from pushing in for another next inhibitor turret.
Yeah, so they have so many options available to them right now, and we talk a little bit about the barrier of Starfall, but I just want to touch on that a little bit because we talk about how they tunnel so much, why Flash Wolves have been tunneling on Shin so much, but you know, taking out Karma would work as well because you take away a lot of that shield, that speed up from the mantra, you know, the mantra speed up that you get, but she has barrier herself, so this is all starting to make sense really, the team composition of NFL. And of course they have the lead, but nonetheless, a very... it is unconventional. We haven't really seen Karma in the mid lane, but it's working so well for them. Again, the first vein of the GPL Spring Split 2014, but it's working terrifically.
Sure has been working terrifically for NFL so far.
Oh, Mountain!
Aggressive against Mountain. Gets Condemn into the wall, stopping the Fault Breaker from coming out from Mountain. Has to flash over the wall. This time doesn't fail his flash in a random direction. So we'll be able to get out of there alive. Shin has popped his ultimate, so gets a little bit of extra damage down onto Baron. This is getting taken out so low.
Not a chance to
Silver
shield
bolts
right
are
here.
more than enough to destroy this Baron. A bomb will absolutely nothing.
Right, so it was actually a pretty big win right there, even though it was just a burn flash from Mountain, but his Ball Breaker being on cooldown as well as his flash meant that there was no possibility of Vi being in the area for the Smite steal. Mega Inferno Bomb not able to pick that up as well. This is getting ugly really. NFL clearing all the objectives will mean that they'll just go back and shop and probably go for one final push on the Flash Wolf space. Or, you know, Shin could just go bottom and pick up that massive amount of creep wave and go back with yet more bling to buy.
Allowing Shin to get both Baron, Dragon, and now all this farm in the bottom lane is really going to give him a huge spike in terms of gold. Allowing to pick up a few more extra items before the next fight takes place between Full Lewis and YOE Flash Wolves. And I do believe if NFL come out on top of the next fight, it will be the final fight of the game.
Yes, and look at the items from Starfall. Again, this Zonya's pickup rather than say something like a Void Staff, I just feel that he's ahead of the Flash Wolves games. The Flash Wolves by now would have noticed that, okay, we're tunneling too hard on Shin, we need to take out another one of the core components of the Flash Wolves composition, and that would be Starfall, but he's like, hey, guess what guys, I have invulnerability, I have barrier, good luck.
And he has friends as well in the form, not only a monkey, a dragon, but also a dragon tamer. That wild growth that will be eventually coming out from Violet onto one of the members of Full Lewis for either an initiation purpose or a defensive purpose, which we should see in this next fight. Good decision by Full Lewis to push out both this mid lane and bottom lane, especially while Baron is down and they have the top inhibitor and inhibitor turret.
Yep, they can really sit here all day. Seems like they're backing off for just a little bit, maybe picking up one or two more items that will help make the team fight a little more decisive. But we look at NFL and really each one of them has become a threat of their own. If not in terms of damage, then utility really. I mean, even Lulu just packs so much shields, the polymorph for the crowd control, and the slowdown as well, that Flash Wolves, I just don't see who they can pick off at this moment. Again, with that Zonya's pickup by Starfall, it is so hard. You focus on Wukong or Vayne, they're going to have the invisibility and the mobility to get away from you.
Look at that, Mew tanks about 4
he doesn't care.
there.
Nope. Not at all.
Takes literally no damage. Walks all over these explosive minefields that are being placed down by Train. Takes no damage from that either. It's just a matter of time before they dive in onto this YOE Flash Wolves mid lane inhibitor turret. Shin has managed to pick up a Guardian's Angel for himself.
Yeah, that's on top of the QSS. This is
thought
ridiculous.
that Flash Wolves were going to be incredibly slippery in these team fights, but it looks like NFL is the slippery team coming into this. Banshee's Veil on Lulu as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see a fight coming out from Full Lewis. Or YOE Flash will try to defend this last turret. We're actually going to see the fight. Here comes the Cyclone, which will hit onto the back line and the front line of YOE Flash. We do see Mew trying to separate the back line. He's going to jump in off the Train. Gets a lot of damage now onto the back line of YOE Flash. Was but to disengage in time. They will be able to pick up this middle inhibitor and inhibitor turret. Mew might actually jump in onto Train once again. Pops that burnout to try and close the distance. This looks like NFL gonna try and close this game right here and there.
Yep, the OD.
Take it out solo, gets locked out. He's getting destroyed and obliterated from Summoner's Rift. They jump onto Mew. Here comes the Solid Berry all the way across the sky there, but will not be able to pick him off. Mew is incredibly tanky. Mountain now the focus. They do take down Saber. Mountain gets taken out for the kill. Will it be Ziggs in the turret? Will not be Ziggs, and they do take down the Nexus beforehand. So Full Lewis will pick up this game. The first win for them in the Greater Premier League against Flash Wolves.
Congratulations to Full Lewis